Okay, I'm on a cruise ship with my family in the Mediterranean, and something crazy just happened. On Monday, I casually logged into my bank accounts and I saw the number that I have been writing in my journal for the past 3 years or so. And this happened while we've been making 50 to 100K per month in the business. Our brand is featured in New York Times Square. I'm jet setting with my family like this, and also enjoying slow mornings. And what most people don't realize is that hitting these kind of financial milestones isn't just luck. And it's definitely not just manifesting and visualizing or some new spiritual breakthrough. And it's also not some expensive new funnel or masterclass way to make money overnight. It's simply the number one rule that I've had in place for years that grew my business to a 7-figure company. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you that exact strategy so that you can literally copy and paste and make real progress toward your financial goals and getting to consistent 50 or 100K months yourself. Now, real quick, if you are interested in more of these kinds of videos and you want to grow your business as much as I do, then go ahead and subscribe and tap that little notification bell, because I'm on a mission to release new videos every single week to give you real business advice. The things that I wish I knew before I invested in hustle culture and cringeworthy content making and all of these, grow online myths. I'm on a mission to dispel those. And if you're interested in learning how, then please subscribe and let me know in the comments what else you want to learn from me or what questions you'd love to have answered. Now, let me show you a full breakdown of this rule and how you can implement it in your life and your business immediately and be having more of these dream life moments yourself. Okay, so before we get into what to do, let's just dispel what doesn't work, okay? Let me tell you what not to do first, because human psychology, we remember the negative stuff better. So I'm gonna start there with a little bit of storytelling. Because back in the day, I ran a done-for-you business that was really all about just hustling more to get one-on-one clients. I thought just working harder and producing more was going to get me to that 50K month. And despite what a lot of the bro marketing gurus told me, things did not go that way at all. I was just hoping for cash injections and wishing that clients would just fall out of the sky into my roster. So I hustled for hours at random times of the day, just trying to hit my numbers, right? Post a story every 24 hours, reach out to 5 people per day. And I felt like I was in a million places at once, freaking out about what I'd have to do on Friday or how much time I'd have to sacrifice over the weekend to hit my outcome goals, which we're going to get into a lot here. I just wanted 50K per month business. So I journaled about it. And I figured it would get easier to make once I made the money, right? Like this moving finish line. It was like, okay, just keep working hard. Okay, just keep hustling at 10K a month. Okay, just keep hustling at 20K per month. Just keep doing more. And then we're going to magically manifest this 50K per month number. So by the time I got to 50K per month, I thought I would be able to afford more systems, right? Like, again, moving the finish line all of the time, just thinking if I just keep doing more, something's going to break, right? Break through. So I just had to keep journaling about my magic number and feng shui my house and do EFT tapping. Like I was into all of the, spiritual ways to just get something to manifest into my lap. And you can probably also guess that I was feeling a lot of burnout doing all of those things, which is a really terrible place to be if you are someone who relies on your energy. Meaning my entire business was built on me being the product, me being the marketing, me being the personal brand. So when I felt this constant anxiety and burnout, like I was just always exhausted, feeling like I could never do enough, it had a really bad trickle-down effect on everything that I was trying to do. Because what I've learned is that a dream with the wrong action or no action creates anxiety. And I'm telling you guys, people can sense when you're not on top of your game, right? Just everything feels off. You feel out of alignment, and other things are affected by that. And so for me, after doing this for years, just pulling myself in all of these different directions, trying to just do more so that I could earn more, I just ended up crying on my bathroom floor. And if you've seen this before, then you know this was my rock bottom moment when I was in 75K of credit card debt and I thought about giving everything up, about quitting totally and just going to get a real job, giving up on my vision, my mission, my dream to be a 7-figure business owner. Because the more that I just waited and journaled and prayed, the more anxiety and debt I got. And it wasn't until I realized that I was following the wrong rules that I was able to pick myself up off of the bathroom floor. And the fix is just so stupid easy. I decided to make this entire video about it. So feast your eyes on this. I was promised outcome versus process goals. Outcome goals. These are results oriented. These are like SMART goals where you have some specific, measurable, actionable, rational, time bound. I think that's what SMART stands for, right? So you measure it in terms of outcomes achieved. Like, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. And then you're supposed to just, stick to a strategy and just keep doing it until the result yields itself. Whereas a process goal is more about actions. It's about the behaviors, the activities. It's about showing up consistently. Instead of saying I'm going to lose 10 pounds as an outcome goal, you might say I'm going to eat greens with every single meal. And this provides a lot more sustainability and even a sense of control because they're about your actions and efforts, and you can always recommit to a process goal. Whereas outcome goals are pretty black and white. You either succeed or you fail. And humans don't like to fail. So if you fail enough days in a row not losing 10 pounds, they are much easier to quit on. So you might be familiar with this idea if you've ever read Atomic Habits. It's very popular in the entrepreneurial space. But here's the shortened version. An outcome goal is like saying, I want to lose those 10 or 20 pounds. And it can feel exciting, but it's also vague. It doesn't tell you how you're going to do it. It leaves room for procrastination, wishful or magical thinking, and then just like crossing your fingers while trying to figure out how you can cheat on a meal in My Fitness app, right? Like, fitness is a really easy way to do this or explain this, but the same thing is true for getting clients online. For years, I'd be like, I'm going to get 16 clients. And then I would just like come up with all these activities and then decide, no, that's not the right activity. And then I'd like cheat on my activity. And then I never got the results. And then I never knew what actually was going to work for me. Whereas a process goal is like saying, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week, swap my soda for water, and track my meals for 30 days. It puts you in behaviors that create a desired outcome. So it's the actual daily habit and the weekly actions that, if you stick to them, are going to create that outcome, right? So I see process goals creating outcomes as a byproduct. So the difference is that outcome goals are the destination and process goals are the GPS coordinates and driving directions that get you there without stalling on the side of the highway or turning around way before you're there. So why does this matter so much? Well, science shows us that process goals have a large effect on performance, much more significant than outcome goals. So when you only have an outcome goal, you're constantly in that scramble mode, trying random strategies, burning out, second guessing yourself, basically playing business whack-a-mole, if you remember arcades as a kid, or with your kids now. But with process goals, you have a built-in plan. You know exactly what you're doing to hit your outcome goal because you have a system in place. And this is the biggest difference between 6-figure earners and 7-figure earners that I work with. Because 6-figure earners will follow the outcome rules. Like, I need 3 clients in August because I got to pay the bills. And that keeps people stuck trying a bunch of different things just to reach that goal. It pulls you in a bunch of different directions, or you start throwing spaghetti at the fridge just to see, does this get me 3 clients? Does this get me 3 clients? Whether or not it actually moves the needle forward doesn't really matter. You're just hustling in a lot of different directions and hoping that something sticks. Whereas 7-figure earners, on the other hand, they want the process. They want something like a system that they can follow. So they'll say things like, I'm going to take 10 sales calls this week and release 2 YouTube videos because I know that that kind of consistency and momentum will automatically create some sales. Think about it. If you just take 10 sales calls per week, you're going to get clients, right? And so the difference here is that you're going to get to the same outcome, but you have to think about this as a process. So you want to put the process in place above and beyond the outcome. So you're actually going to be able to look at the step-by-step way that you get there, not random spaghetti on the fridge. And when you focus on the process goals, you're putting yourself in a situation where you literally cannot fail because you're consistently taking action toward the outcome that you want. And this is what helped me set my number one rule. And it might surprise you because it's not necessarily cute or sexy or feminine, but it is always be selling. And if you take away just one thing from this video, I want it to be this. Your business's success depends on following the one thing you know you have to do to make money, plus how consistent you are in following through with it. We all know that sales calls lead to clients, but so many of us want to run away from it and be making Canva posts or doing a TED Talk or all these other things that are not guaranteed to make sales. And so the challenge becomes sticking to your process goals and finding ways to always be selling, even if you're burnt out, even if you feel like not doing it. You just don't have you have a mood. And even when things feel heavy and hard, because this is what actually pays the bills. And it was not the truth that I wanted to hear, but I have to be honest with you. It is about consistency in sales. But it's also the thing that we always want to avoid, to stay comfortable. Because saying stuff like you're going to get up at 5 a.m. every morning to take sales calls is absolutely not the most fun thing to do in the world. But if you're also simultaneously saying that you want 50K months and you're trying a million types of spaghetti just to see if something will work and if you're going to luck out one time, then it's not going to get you to your goals. It's just going to dig you into a deeper hole of stress, anxiety, burnout, and debt. I know it because I lived it. And when you commit to being the type of person who, right? That's a hack from NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming, that I want you to borrow. Commit to being the type of person who is always making sales, or who has an omnipresent, and definitely who follows this number one rule of always be selling, because this is the guaranteed way to have clients coming in and not burn yourself out doing the wrong things. So I teach all of this from my lived experience because you can see how this worked in my own life. This is me texting one of my confidants that today was a casual AF Monday. I popped into one of our accounts and I saw this magical number that I have been journaling about, but I also just let go and started becoming the person who does the things to earn this much money. I let go of figuring out how am I going to make 50K this month because I knew it was done. I knew I was becoming the type of person and taking the type of actions to show up to 50K in my bank account, cash collected in the last 30 days without even knowing it, right? Because between 2023 and 2025, I had to completely transform what my life and my business looked like. I did not want to hear this type of stuff, and that's exactly why I have to say it now. So what I did is I set up process goals. And I built a team that can do all the things that I can't get done on my own in one day. I showed up to this number one rule of getting my butt in a chair and always be selling Monday through Friday, even when I didn't feel like it, even when I was, traveling with my family. And then here we are, August 2025. I log into my bank account and I see that I have that exact number, that 50K available in my bank account, the one that I pay my team from. This was the kind of overflow that I had been journaling and manifesting and having on my phone lock screen. And it was all over my Pinterest board. And I was telling my confidants and my life coaches that this is all I wanted. All I wanted was 50K for so long. But when I was gripping to it and I was trying to find the secret hack to get there yesterday, it never came. I only got in more debt. But to get to this 50K cash collected moment, it was because I had followed the rule of focusing on process goals and this happened a long time ago, right? Like in 2023, I had changed my mindset, and then I started seeing the results in my business. And I want the same thing for you, because these kinds of things are what make our dream life our real life, and what make us feel like we're actually on purpose and feel in integrity. I'm someone who talks about transformation and personal development and being in integrity. And so to actually follow my own advice and do the hard work of showing up and putting in the reps and letting go of scarcity and just doing the things that I knew a 50K per month business owner would do, this is what has allowed me to now be in the Mediterranean with my family. I spent a month in Colombia with my husband just because I needed a change of scenery earlier this year. We're also able to take family hikes on Lake Tahoe with my in-laws, and I do have slow mornings. Now, I wake up at 5 a.m. to enjoy that spaciousness and to make sure that I invest in myself, but that's just something that came with this identity work. I'm also able to be jet setting to New York City when our company was featured in Times Square, and I'm always down for a random Caribbean adventure. But none of these things were actually feasible. I didn't actually feel peace or abundance until I committed to being the type of person who does the process goals that a 50K per month person would do. And it is not hoping that it happens yesterday and magically and overnight. It's knowing that if I want to be a fit person, I don't just go to the gym once. If I want to be a rich business owner, I don't just have one launch that works for me. We have to be honest about the game of life. And these rules of consistency and identity and integrity absolutely apply. So if you're tired of following bro marketing guru advice that tell you to just work more, and you have lost all of your precious free time to do the things that actually light up your soul because you're so stressed about your business and running in 17 different algorithm directions, or you're working on a million and one different things that make you look busy, like you're writing your book and you're speaking on TED stages and you're hosting events at Harvard and you're thinking about all these different things all of the time, but you're not actually paying the bills, or you're not actually cash collecting 50K per month. And this is my favorite. But if you're still trying every trick in the book to grow your business, but you still feel stuck on that same number, because that was me. I had 50K in my journal for years, and I thought I had tried all of the right things, but they never got me that result. Then I'm going to show you what the shift was for me. It's this simple process goal that helped me stick to my number one rule. So now I make money online with the easiest sales calls of my life. People are so afraid of sales calls, but they're not that deep. They're not that hard, especially if you're already used to coaching or mentoring people. We should really just lift the veil, cut the crap, and realize that sales calls are not that hard. And also, now I enjoy what it feels like to have raving fans and testimonials coming in on the regular who want to shout out Dream Life Consulting from the hills, because we teach them these same processes. And we don't just give them a quick fix, but we give them the life-changing identity and sustainable systems that it finally clicks for them. And so now we're able to reach 100K months. We're on track for over 1 million this year. And I'm on vacation doing this. I'm not burning out because I love what I do. I feel on purpose. I feel aligned. And this is what process goals do for us. So what are some process goals for my day? Honestly, you guys, I talk to so many coaches who say they're feeling burnt out because they're hustling with another webinar, another lead magnet, or another social media post, just hoping or begging for clients. And so their brains are in 17 different places and they feel so unfocused. And I get it. Again, I used to be really bad at future tripping too, and worrying down the line about the 47 things that actually don't matter today. Like, should I redo my website? And what am I going to wear to my TED Talk? And how am I going to fulfill when I have 50 clients? So one of the process goals that I adopted was an intention of 24-24. Okay, like 24 hours by 24 hours. I look at my days just chunk by chunk, 24 hours by 24 hours. What am I doing right now in this moment at this time? presence creates so much freedom, right? But even in my schedule, I'm not thinking about what's going to happen in a month. I don't even think about what's going to happen in a year. I just focus on the 24 hours that are in front of me and what I can do today to be making sales. So I completely stop planning my entire week. I don't do the, Sunday night color coded calendar thing, because I just started planning the moments I have in front of me. And if you have a busy life or a lot of things going on, I think this is really going to work for you, not just in how you're going to make sales, but like in how you're actually going to move the needle forward in all of your goals in life. Because if I look at the things that I need to accomplish and I remember what I'm committed to be doing, then I can also just break it down in the most simple way and realize that when I'm in a place where I need money, and you're watching this because you want to make money online, I'm just going to tell you the number one thing you can be doing in any given moment is making sales. And this has helped preserve my energy, focus, and be more potent on these sales calls that I said. They just keep getting easier because my mind is always just thinking about, well, how can I move the needle forward? What conversations can I be having? Because all of this is rooted in purpose. And if we boil this all down, I know you're good at transformation. The people that we work with understand how to achieve things in life. So if we boil it down to what the most potent thing you could be doing with your gifts is right now, it is selling. Because for me, I have the rare freedom to focus my gifts and my attention on something that I need to accomplish today, which is making sales. But this is also changing people's lives. And when we shift our mindset from thinking this is a selfish, I need to pay the bills thing, but we really think about sales as service, as I know so many respected leaders do, then we don't feel salesy, we don't feel sleazy, we actually feel on purpose. So what are the process goals for my systems for selling? Well, with the systems that we have, I'm able to talk to 3 to 4 qualified leads per day, which I have learned to light me up. I used to dread these sales calls until I started becoming the type of person who is always selling, is always changing people's lives, is living my life purpose, is not hiding from helping the people who I know need my gifts. I absolutely love that I get to talk to my people this often. It's what I'm here for. And so I already kind of alluded to the fact that one of the things that I do to set me up for this ability to talk to this many people a day is getting up at 5 a.m. And you know what? It just works for me. And in July alone, I enrolled 6 new clients because this is what I do. And that's a mantra that you can take because this is what I do. I don't second guess what time am I going to get up. I don't second guess, am I going to make offers today? It is so much easier to just get up and be in flow with what you know matters day in and day out instead of questioning if you should be in 17 other places at once. And let's be honest, the results are fun, right? Discipline affords freedom. And when you commit to doing hard work, you get massive rewards. And so this might be something that you also need to learn, because when I first got started, I literally could not stand the thought of pitching someone. And so you might be like me too, where you're in the place of dreading those sales calls. But in 5 minutes of getting on the call and talking to someone who is interested in what you do and has problems that you can solve and is pre-qualified, then you get to feel on purpose, in your zone of genius, energized, lit up, and you can see the ways that you can use your gifts. That's all sales is. And this is why I'm saying they keep getting easier and easier. So if all I have to do is talk to 4 people a day, and because of the system I've built, it just lets me talk to the right people, my people who get it, I do feel lit up at the end of the day, which is much different than talking to nobody all week and being exhausted and burnt out on Friday and wondering, how am I going to save this? Where's my next dollar coming from? I would much rather invest the energy throughout the week to be on purpose and to be making sales and to be showing up to massive cash collected in my bank account than running away from conversations every single week. That's a very different kind of exhausting. So I do have process goals for the things that light me up, because we have to have balance, right? And burnout is real. And so we definitely need to think about a well-balanced life. You're not just putting your butt in a seat and talking to people all day about your work. But I also have, standard operating procedures for everything in my life. Like, I exercise almost every day. I have a system for that. So I don't have excuses for when I'm traveling, because I travel a lot. So I even have a system that helps me exercise, even if it's in the airport. I have systems for my social life, like when and how I get lunch with my girlfriends. Same thing with walking my dog to the beach. There are processes in place that help me feel like I'm living a full and whole life, instead of sitting around wondering, when am I going to fit this all in? Because now I get to be on purpose instead of protecting my energy. I don't have to worry about that anymore. I don't have to spend so much time journaling or stressing or doing the deep healing work that only made me more burnt out. Honestly, these Google Docs are where some of my good ideas and journal time is most productive. Yes, I still journal, but I'm not journaling stuff like $50,000, universe, God, please find this miraculous payday, have it fall from the sky. I'm not asking myself, how am I going to get to 50K per month? I'm not praying at night, please bring me 16 clients tomorrow. These days, I'm journaling about gratitude. I'm journaling about my purpose. I'm journaling about ways that I can make my system better. I'm journaling to do things that fill up my cup and move the needle forward so that I can show up on purpose and do the hard stuff. Because yes, there are still parts of doing business that are less fun than others, but it is kind of that choose your hard thing. It's hard to be unhealthy. It's also hard to work out. Like, which one do you want? And for me, it was hard to make sales, but I would much rather have the results that are on the other side of that hard work. Because I actually just had a client ask me this, and she was like, Hannah, when's the last time you burnt out? And I honestly couldn't remember, because I'm having so much fun following my number one rule. I'm always selling. I'm on purpose. I'm making money, and it's fun. It is fun to get results. And it is fun to build your self-esteem and follow through on the commitments that you make to yourself, on your process goals. It can feel like a game. You're not the victim here. If you want to have big paychecks, if you want to be a great person, then this is what we need to commit to, being the type of person who sets process goals. So I think that's the big thing that I want to leave you with here today. Because if you simply commit to some process goals and showing up to the work and getting those fingers on the laptop and asking people for conversations and then getting your butt in the seat and be making sales, you get to decide what comes next. And if you feel overwhelmed, I see you. I was there before too. But I don't want you to struggle for as long as I struggled. And you have something to share with people that humanity really, really needs right now. The people we work with literally transform lives. And I want you to unlock that potential and not sabbatical it because you might burn out. So what if you committed yourself to some new process goals? What if you adopted a system, not just random strategies? And what if you took a chance on yourself by changing your mindset from a coach to a CEO? Because CEOs think about sustainable systems. They show up in an identity where maybe they wake up at 5 a.m. Maybe they talk to 4 people per day. Maybe they have difficult conversations with team members. But they are focused on running something bigger than their emotions. And that's what I want to leave you with today. And if you're interested in stepping into 50K months for yourself, then you're going to need a system. And I've recorded a video linked below that will show you that system. But I want to make sure that you're someone who's actually committed to doing what it takes, because so many people will just take free YouTube advice and try to implement. But I first and foremost want you to be focusing on process goals so that this is sustainable for you and we aren't burning out every month and we aren't reinventing the wheel all of the time. So if you're ready to see what to implement, what this system actually is, then go ahead, watch my video linked below, and maybe we'll talk about what this looks like in your life one of these days. Cheers to growth.